Hey everybody, how we doing today? Chris Matan, Real Estate Machine Show and the Modern Success Formula. And today's topic is multi-family investing, apartments. It's been in my blood for a long, long time. And frankly, I've been a little bit out of the game from a personal standpoint of apartment investing. I've had a number of apartments over the years and a number of different buildings and different locations. And frankly, I miss it. I do miss it. I'm selling apartment buildings, so I'm still kind of in the cadence of talking to tenants and leases and hallways and basements and laundry rooms and all that kind of stuff. And I just love that space. I really do. And what's really interesting about it today is that there are so many different ways that you can actually make a multifamily building work, whether it's a 2-unit building or a 200-unit building. And there's so many different income streams. There's so many different models to use to think about management strategies, tax and 1031 exchange strategies, flipping strategies. Airbnb now, short-term rentals, has become huge for people. And, what a way to arguably triple your revenue by going with the short-term stay model. Now that's a completely different animal. You're kind of running a business that's almost a day-to-day business, as opposed to a longer-term rental when you're dealing with year leases. Sometimes you may sign somebody up to a year lease, and you may never ever hear from them other than when they're sending a check. That's the in a perfect world, that's the tenant that you want. And the tenant that stays for a long time is very, very low maintenance. You provide them a clean, safe, and good place to live. They're satisfied, they're happy, and it's their home, and that's what you want. And that's a piece that I think kind of separates landlords. There's the landlord that kind of does the minimal for as much, try to get as much as they can with putting in as little as possible. And when you do that, I believe you see turnover a lot more. So your vacancy factors are going to be different. Whereas if you give somebody an exceptional product, and you go in and you remodel and you do everything really tight and really seamless and really good and clean and a little bit of quality, you may find yourself with a tenant that stays another year or 2 years. You can charge a little bit more, and you may get a different kind of tenant, different type of tenant that is able to pay more and is going to treat it as a home, as opposed to maybe just a landing spot. Listen, not all tenants are created equal and not all landlords are created equal, but it's to find that kind of happy medium where everybody's happy, is the trick. And I found that, you in the multifamily space, you get more, and, people are going to argue with me, right? Because there's some old timers and there's some people that have been in the business for a long time and take a certain strategy, and it's worked well for them over the long term. But not all of us have 30, 40 years to kind of sit on an asset. Sometimes we want to be in and out in 5 years and move on to something else. And in those 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, you really have to, you got to create value for the asset. And sometimes that means cash flow. Sometimes that just means stability. And by stability, I mean investing in the property, investing into the quality of the property, increase the quality of the tenant, increase the quality of the rent, and create a stable space for somebody to live, where they're not going to be questioning, well, is there something better out there? They get themselves in there, they get themselves comfortable, and they stay. Nobody likes to move unless you have to. But if you can kind of go with that mindset, what you're gonna have is a lot less repairs and maintenance, a lot less vacancy factor, a lot less collections, and your bottom line is going to grow. Now, when it comes time to sell, everybody's going to use their own metrics and they're going to put their things in there and whatnot. But the savvy apartment investor that knows what they're doing can walk into a building and within 15 minutes tell you how that building is currently operated, what they can do with it, and whether or not they're going to buy it. And if they get into the minutia of leases and this and that and expenses and all this stuff and questioning everything and why is this and why is this and why is this, why is this, then they're not going to get very far, because you either know, and listen, some of that stuff you need in the beginning to kind of get your experience and get your feet wet and get your system down. But the guys with experience that know what they're doing, if you're a real estate agent, all right, and you're selling a multifamily building to somebody who claims to own several properties and has been in the business for a long time and understands it, and they start going down that road of really detailed point, all this kind of stuff, the chances of you making that deal are 50-50, because they're going to find a way to talk themselves out of it. The guy that knows what he's doing could look at it from the street and tell you, I'll do that deal. He'll walk into the hallway, he'll walk into the basement, he'll be able to tell you if he'll do that deal. And that's kind of what separates a lot of people. And those are the people that you want to work for and you want to work with. There's the first time investor that you have to walk through, and you got to let them, they have to understand the income and expenses and the management and the operation of the property. And that, again, that comes with experience. But that if that's who you're dealing with, that's how you know how to work with them. But if that same person comes to you and says, oh, I own 10 buildings over here and I've owned this and I've owned this, and then they start like dissecting everything, they're not going to buy it. They're not going to buy it. They're looking for something to talk themselves out of it, or maybe to find, they're savvy. They're not dumb. They might be trying to find an angle here or there. But listen, if you're going to buy a building, you're going to buy a building. Go out and buy a building. Find it. If you're not going to buy, you're going to buy this one. You're not going to buy this one. You're not going to buy this one. You're going to buy this one. And that's kind of the way that I look at it. And take it for what it's worth. But multifamily investing, the multifamily class right now, asset class, is the hottest it's been in a long time. I think it's going to increase. I really do. Interest rates, yes, have grown, but I think rents are going to keep increasing to keep up with those interest rates. I really do. People do not want to move. There's less product out there. There's less good product out there. And the good there's a big gap too, because there's some new construction coming up. So you can get a really nice 2-bedroom apartment for a brand new, for say, wherever your market is, but let's say it's $2,500, where, you've got your kind of C class, but nice older building over here for $1,600. That's a big, big jump. So there's a huge opportunity here. As more new construction comes, there's going to be a huge opportunity here for some smaller time investors with multifamily to capitalize on increasing rates, increasing rents, and it's truly going to keep up with inflation. I really believe that. So anyway, if you wanted to dive any deeper in on that, I'd love to have a private chat with you. Put a comment in the comments below, or send me a personal message and we'll get together. Until then, have a great day, and keep looking at those multifamily buildings. They're good deals. See ya.